These are a few different variations of hip activation. So we're gonna start with a basic hip bridge. So you'll come onto your back, hands down by your side. I like to bend the elbows so that I'm not driving through my hands, which has a tendency to allow the shoulders to press up towards the ceiling. So I'm gonna bend your arms, drive your shoulders down, ribs are in, heels down, toes up. You're just gonna drive your hips straight up towards the ceiling and straight back down, activating glutes, activating hamstrings, activating the front of your shins. And we're watching that our knees stay parallel to each other. If you feel like your knees are really splaying out to the side as you drive up and you're working your outer hips more than your inner thighs, you can place something between your knees like a block to help keep those thighs parallel to each other. If you feel like you need more outer hip work, you can also place a band around your knees. And then from here, we're gonna add a march. So you'll drive your hips up, and then you're gonna drive your right knee in towards your chest, and slowly setting it back down. A little pause before that foot touches the floor, and then we'll alternate sides. Keeping those hips really high, and observe if the hips change. So when we lift one leg, it's really easy to let that hip drop towards the floor. You wanna try and keep those hips level with each other. Okay, so that's the bridge march. Other variation to add is a single leg bridge. So I like to use a broomstick to create a little core activation for this. So you'll take the broomstick, place it on the front of the thigh, and connect the leg and the arm into each other. So driving your knee into the broomstick or dowel and driving the dowel or broomstick back into the leg to engage the core. And then from here, shoulders away from the ears, and then you'll drive your hips all the way up. Okay, as high as you can. You may feel like you're limited in your range of motion. You may feel like you get some cramping in that hip flexor. You're just gonna work on gaining more range, gaining more control through this active work. Okay, so doing that single leg hip bridge. If you don't have a dowel or a broomstick, you can do the same thing with hand on the knee, opposite elbow down. Okay, so I'm connecting to my core by driving my leg and hand into each other, driving down through the opposite arm, and all the way up towards the ceiling, all the way back down. So those are a few different variations for hip bridge to get into the glutes, the hamstrings, and a little bit in those lateral hips as well.